Hello everyone, this is AB Creative, and today we are going to be creating a stunning Queen Anne's lace using a glue gun and some of the easiest pouring techniques around. Today's episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Today I'm fancying something simple, very easy to do but very effective. And I'm going to use this canvas again, the long canvas. And I was thinking today, and this bowl, it's been on my table for quite a few years. I made it a long time ago, and I just saw this plant. And I think I'm going to do something like this, but with a glue gun and then pouring on top. I think the plant I'm talking about is called Queen Anne's lacing, I think so, or something similar. I was going to start with the glue gun straight away, but since I'm going to pour over, I can as well sketch where I want my plant to be. I think I'd like quite a few, so this is obviously very, very rough. Just want to position it. One will be here. So something like this. I think I want one smaller, so it'll be one smaller somewhere here. Well, I don't mind them overlapping. Maybe a very, very small baby one. The leaves are actually slightly tricky. They look like little Christmas trees. Okay, so let's just start with the glue gun now. What shall I start with? Sometimes it's good to drip it first somewhere else, because I don't really want a huge chunk of glue. Now I'm creating this, well, let's just call it a little umbrella. Oh, this one is too fat for my liking, so I'm going to remove it. Oh, these are funny. All dotty. Not sure why. One here. As you can see in the end, I've decided to swap for slightly smaller gun. I think the nozzle is just a bit smaller. It's not a huge difference, but maybe this will help me creating this section, it'll be easier, especially with the little bits on top. So when I was doing an online research, as I usually do, I noticed that Amy Pierce did an amazing video like 7 years ago, and I think that was the same plant. I would love to give her a shout out, and there's a link to this awesome piece. That leaves us with this. It's a baby one, so it's going to look a bit different. I think I need to do some research into various sizes of glue guns, and maybe there is something called, I don't know, precision glue gun, because that will be really useful. This is how I'm attaching the end of it to this one. That one was supposed to be just a blade of grass. Sometimes the glue flows really nicely, and other times it doesn't, so I think that will do. That section is actually thick enough on its own. So now all the endings. Okay, so what do I do? Just little blobs. Couple of touches on each. Maybe some dots in places, And I am repeating the same. While I'm doing it, I just want to say that if you do something inspired by my videos, I post your work every Friday on Instagram. It's called a Fun Friday. I'm so impressed with what you lovely people make. Honestly, it's such a joy for me to see that so many people actually want to take time, watch my tutorial, and then make something similar. This is awesome. Not that many with glue guns so far. Lots of stencils, which is fantastic because, as you know, I really like pushing acrylic pouring a bit further and doing, more mixed media stuff. Being an art teacher, I just always want to incorporate some techniques and see what else we can do. So before I pour some paint on here, I've been thinking I would love to be able to put this piece up for sale. Well, surprise! Now I can. I finally can, because I finally have a website. And that's thanks to today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace gives people a powerful and easy to use online platform from which you can create your website. You can connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated, members-only content. My site, abcreativeofficial.com, was so easy to set up, and it took me almost no time at all to get products on there and have everything look great. Using one of the stunning templates, you can make your idea a reality, and it's as easy as changing text and adding images. Go to Squarespace for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/abcreative to save 10% of your purchase of a website or domain and get your own site up and running fast and looking great. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I've decided to go with some greens for the background, and I've got some leftover paint here. I might add a bit more. Let's see if I've got any more shades, and I'll just pour all around my glue gun work. That's why I like those longer canvases for this type of work, especially with longer plants or some kind of design that looks really good on a thin and long canvas. These are the colors, not many, that we're going to be using. So I created those four using these paints. Phthalo green, so I added just a drop to one of the greens. Burnt sienna, burnt amber, this is pale green, and titanium white. So these are my own mixes, a little bit of brown, a little bit of green, and then titanium white. And you've got this selection. Now what's in my paint? 1 part of paint to 1 part of pouring medium, and my pouring medium is PVA glue and water, and 1 part of Floetrol. And it's all roughly, I eyeball it, I never measure anything. That gave me this consistency. Runs off nicely with a little build up. I might need something underneath my painting today. I found this. This was when I was making the crazy experiment from last week. If you haven't watched it, please do. I used something very, very unusual. I was actually pouring with antibacterial hand wash. And the result is quite interesting, to say the least. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm basically going to spread, maybe I'll even hold it like this, spread this green where I want it, and I will do the same with the other colors. Might even use a hairdryer just to move it, or use my straw to blow the paint around. This one seems to be a bit thinner, which is fine. Oh, covers it really nicely. You can see how it spreads. Yes, I do want a bit more of this dark green here. Just spreading. I don't want them to be really kind of blending completely, but yet I want some overlapping. I should have used some cardboard to catch the edges, but I am going to add a bit of this. Let's take a bit of the leftover paint and put it here. I was trying to mix them, in the same way, but as you can see, this one and the second green seems to be a bit runnier. Not sure why. Okay, if I use the hairdryer, that should move. The paint is a bit too much at the moment. Have you seen my crazy device? Some of you have. When I had this plastic nozzle I didn't like, then I made this. And I like it. I know it's not safe, so don't do it. But I kind of kept it, as you can see. I'm super happy with this section. Now I know it might be a bit silly for some of you, but this is just me. If I have anything that drips, I either leave it for my acrylic skins, that's 90% of the time, or I just salvage all the drops and I have it for another pour. You know, because I use small amounts, that'll be perfect for another green background. Why not? You can keep it for, you know, a few weeks, definitely. I am leaving it to dry. That will probably, I'll check of course tomorrow, and parts of it might be dry, but I'll probably come back to it in 2 days. And when I come back, I'll tell you what the next step is. You probably are not expecting it. It's less than 24 hours. It's completely dry. And what I wanted to say is when you use hairdryer and you don't put a lot of paint and the paint is quite runny, it's dry in no time. I'm going to add some shadows to the plants. I'm going to dab my brush. Now what's important, unless you want the whole background black, I don't. I just want some shadows here. So I am going to take a little bit of black and I'm quickly going to wipe off using baby wipes to get rid of the excess of paint. Well, you decide if you want to do it this way, how much you take off. You may take off lots, you may leave quite a lot of black. You know, when I work with clay with my students, whenever we do a relief, like we're adding raised section on top, we actually use shoe polish. You can see it kind of pop more. You can see them much better. The design gets more visible this way. I'm actually very happy with the leaves. I didn't know they would look so good. And I love working on poured background when it's dry, because I can change and wipe it off. I wasn't sure about the green background at the beginning, but I like it now with the combination of green and black. I definitely like the little imperfections here and there. I hope you like it so far. All right, I'll probably wait maybe like half an hour. Time for the greatest fun, gold. My favorite gold paints. I really love this gold by Arteza. These are little Artezas as well, and I've got Aztec gold. I don't think I'll use this one. This one is darker. See that? I'm going to use those two. So first, just gold. And as usual, I like touching the relief with my finger because it really gives me some control. Of course, you can use a brush if you prefer. And again, a wipe is useful because this time I don't want my gold on the background at all. If I want it really vibrant, I'm going to apply second coat once this one is dry. A brush will be harder for me, but you can use a very thin brush if you prefer. I am still going to continue with my finger. That's just the way I like it, and I love touching it. I find it very satisfying. Now I remember I used once green and gold when I was making the apple. It's quite popular, so if you haven't seen it, there's a link to the video. I think I really like adding 3D elements to my paintings. It's just so much more fun. And art should always be fun. It should be really enjoyable. So if you don't like certain technique, just don't use it, or try something else. Don't give up. It's very satisfying once you succeed and you see the result. That's the only reason I never try anything before. I like showing you how to fix something, and how to, if I really mess up, salvage it somehow. I'm very careful not to have too much paint on my finger, so it's like flat. This is the golden hour, the lighter gold. I'm going to touch a couple of places. Not even spreading that, I'm just touching some sections. Once it's dry, and it will be dry very quickly, you're ready for the varnish. When I make something like 3D relief work, I much prefer using the spray varnish. I want to show you the varnish I'm using. So this is gloss varnish by Liquitex. Once you finish spraying, and you spray very lightly, one layer, then you have to wait quite a long time. What you have to do, and it's really important because I've wasted I don't know how many nozzles before, you keep it upside down and then you spray for 5 seconds so that the air will clean your nozzle. This is really, really important. Okay, so I'm going out now. I'm not going to spray in my studio, and I'll come back. Well, there we are. This is a very simple piece, but I find the minimal design pretty striking, and it really is so fun to make. I'll also remind you that if you are thinking of building a website, could be for your business or a portfolio or even for fun, you can get 10% off a Squarespace site by heading to the link in my description. My new site, abcreativeofficial.com, that I made with Squarespace is finally live. You will see a couple of my pieces on there for sale, along with a couple of other things, so be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon. Bye bye!